Hello, students. We're going to figure out this game together. This is an ordering game. It is from Prep Test 70, Section 3, game number 1. And this is just a one-to-one ordering game where you have 6 spots and 6 variables. The concert promoter is arranging 6 bands. And so our base is going to be a number line of 1 through 6. And then our variables to be placed in order are going to be the initials of the bands, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So now we have our rules. Our first rule is that V needs to be earlier than Z. So V is more to the left than Z. So I wrote that right over here. That's the beginning of my little map over here. And the next one says W and Z are each earlier than X. So I just added that into what I already have. I like to have a kind of a merged map if I can. Since Z is before X, I just wrote X over here, and then W is before X too. That works. And then my rules about Y and U have to do with being in the first 3 or the last 3. So I wrote them like so. And I'm going to look really quickly, and I see that there's no free agents. I can't really make any inferences. I'm going to go ahead and go to the questions. I'm trying to think if I can make any inferences. I know that, X couldn't be third. X would have to be over here in the last part. I can see that the game is kind of divided into 2. The board is kind of divided into 2. Let's look at our questions. The first one says, which of the following cannot be in slot 5? So just looking at my game, I can see that V couldn't be in 5. Because if it was, it would push Z and X over the edge. So I'm just kind of looking at that, and I see in my map, the answer choice is B. V could not be in 5. Looking at the rest of the questions, a lot of them have local, they have an if, they're a local question. And then there is also an assignment question, that is number 5, that complete and accurate list of the bands that could be first. And then there is also a substitution question, which is the last one. I'll always say save substitution for last, and I'm going to save assignment for the next to the last. So those are going to be the last ones that I do. Other than that, I would start with number 3, because number 3 says if V is in spot 3. Number 3 doesn't give me an additional rule. It just assigns a variable to a spot, which to me is a little bit easier. If V is in 3, which of the following must be true? Okay, well, if V is in 3, I know that Z and X have to come after V. So we're going to have, and also U has to be somewhere over here. So Z and X will have to be in that order, and then U could be wherever it wants to be down here. U could be in any of the 3 spots, then Z and X would fall around it. So I know that has to be true. And then therefore I would need to put W and Y right here. So it's the only place they can go, and it doesn't matter which one goes where. So the correct answer choice for number 3 is B. W performs in an earlier spot than Z because it has to. It's over in the first half of the game. Z is over there in the last spot. I would do number 4 next. If Zircon performs immediately before Wellspring. So that's giving us an additional rule, which is a block. Which of the following must be true? Well, if we have a Z, if we were to put Z and W into a block, we could just rearrange. It means V has to be before it, X has to be after it. And now what does that mean for the game? Well, I have this interesting game where like Y has to be somewhere over here, U has to be somewhere over here. So where am I supposed to put this block exactly? Because the ZW block is going to be what's hard to place. If I put it on 2 and 3, well, then V and Y would also have to be over in that first half. That won't work. If I put it over here on 4 and 5, that won't work for the same reason. X and U would have to be smushed in there. It won't fit. The only place for Z and W to be is right here. And then U and X could be over here. And V and Y could be right here. So at number 4, the answer to that is E. What must be true is that Zircon must be 3. I would do number 6 next, which gives us another block. If W performs right before X, which of the following could be true? A WX block. Here's what a WX block. And then we would have Z comes before, and then the V. And then again, I have to worry about this Y and U thing. So obviously W and X couldn't be over here. It couldn't be in the first. It couldn't be on 3 and 4. Could W and X be on 4 and 5? Sure. We could put W and X on 4 and 5, put U over here, and then we would just have V and Z with V before Z, and then Y. That would be over here. We can also put W and X at the end. And slide them down, and then U would be right here. And then we'd have the same thing, V before Z and Y. So these are my options for number 6. The correct answer choice is C. What could be true is that Z could be in slot 2. On either side of this, Z could be in slot 2. That would work. And then V would be in 1, and Y would be in 3. So that is, yeah, number 6. Which one would I do next? I do number 2. If Z performs earlier than Y, what is the earliest that W could perform? Well, if Z is before Y, that means Z would have to be on 2. Because Z needs V before it. So if it's before Y, then Y would be on 3. And then what else would I have left? U would be anywhere in the last 3. And then W and X would need to be in that order. So what is the earliest that W could perform is 4. That's the earliest it could be. It can't be any earlier than that. So the answer is C. Now, number 5 is an assignment question. It's saying, what is a complete and accurate list of the bands, any one of which could be in slot 1? First thing I'm gonna do is look at what I already have in slot 1. I know that V, let's see, number 5, V could be first. I know that W or Y could be first. V or Y, I already have those. V could be, Y could be. Okay, so I know that V, W, and Y are all things that could be first. So I'm going to use that to get rid of some certain things. Like A, B, and C, none of those could be it, because all of them leave something out, at least one thing out. We need something that at least includes V, W, and Y. Those are definites. D and E both have V, W, and Y. And then E has Z also. So could Z be first? No, it can't. It would send V over there off the cliff. So the correct answer choice is D, which is just V, W, and Y. For number 7, this is a substitution question. I will show you how I solve substitution questions. They are asking, they're giving us a rule here, which is the constraint, the rule that W and Z are each before X. The rule that says these two need to go before X. They're saying there's another rule that you could swap out for it, and it would create the exact same set of possibilities. It is no more restrictive. It is no more less restrictive than that rule. It would have the same effect. Substitution, same effect. So one of the ways that I will get rid of wrong answer choices is I will take, let's say, for instance, let's look at B. V performs earlier than W, and W is before Z. So I am looking at my possibilities that I made. V does not have to be before W. I can just see right there in that one possibility. Because I have a possibility that violates this wannabe substitute rule, it can't be the right substitute rule. If it's the right substitute rule, none of my possibilities would violate it. So I'm going to get rid of some wrong answer choices like that. B is out for that reason. C says V and W are each earlier than X. That have to be true. Well, that does have to be true. I don't think that's the substitute rule, but we'll leave it there for now. What about D, which says X is either immediately before or immediately after U? Well, that's not necessarily so. That's the truth in a lot of my options, but over here on this one, number 2, X and U don't have to be next to each other. So D is out. What about E? X performs in either 5 or 6. That's true in every single one of my possibilities. X is in either 5 or 6. So now I'm going to kind of like focus in on what I think could be the correct answer choice and try to figure it out. I don't think it's C. C doesn't have anything. It just doesn't feel right. V and W are each earlier than X. I don't think so. A and E. See, E says X performs in either 5 or 6. That's not good enough. I want something that creates the possibility where Z has to go before X and W has to go before X. If X is in 5 or 6, that doesn't mean that Z couldn't come after it. I could put X in 5 and then put Z over there in 6 if I was to substitute this rule. This rule isn't good enough. A is the one that gives me the correct answer choice. Only U could come after X. When they say that only U can come after X, they basically mean that all this other stuff needs to come before it. They already told me that Y has to come before it because Y has to be in the first 3. And then when they say only U can come after it, that means that Z needs to be before it and W also needs to be before it. So that is the correct answer choice. Don't sweat substitution ones too much. The substitution, same effect. Concentrate more on getting the other ones. And I hope that was helpful. I will see y'all in the next game. Bye.